Welcome to this. Well, let me start over. Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matter. Today, I have Cortez Alexander on the show, and we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of social media. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. Good morning, nephew. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. It's nearly afternoon for me, so I'm doing all right.
I was just thinking about that when I said this morning, because I know you guys are 3 hours ahead. So, well, I do want to thank you for taking the time out. Just come and just sit with me and just have a conversation about social media. I think this is actually the first topic I did on this. The first time I've talked about social media on this show. So yeah, we should have a good conversation. So why don't we just start off with you just introducing yourself and tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, so my name's Cortez Alexander. I basically I'm still a young person, so I use social media a lot. So once you brought up this topic, I thought it was fitting because I've seen social media utilized in many different forms. While it does have its pros and cons, it's a tool that I think is worthwhile. So yeah, so I'm from Chicago. I am what I would say a diehard Chicagoan, but
Okay.
I live on the East Coast. So you know, I'm happy to be here.
And talk a little bit about your educational background. Where'd you go to school at? What degrees do you have?
So it's interesting. I did a bachelor's in international studies from DePaul University in Chicago and master's in Middle Eastern studies from the University of London and London, UK. So that's my background, and I love traveling in the Middle East and speaking Arabic, and all those things combined. Social media has played a role in that because it's helped me in both my career and my interests. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's just start out talking about, do you use social media platforms currently today?
I do. But I particularly restrict myself to probably Facebook is the one I use the most, and then there's Instagram. But the newer ones like TikTok or just TikTok is a prime example. I'm
Yeah,
just in Snapchat. I'm not on those platforms because they're just so quick, and the information you can consume is just rapid fire. So I'm not on those. I'm not on those. So
yeah,
I restrict myself to just Facebook and Instagram and of course LinkedIn, but that's about it.
nice. So what do you utilize Facebook and Instagram for?
Yeah, so for me, it's mainly for communicating with my friends who are far away or my family who's now far away. So it's the tool so I can keep just up to date with their lives and seeing what's going on. I have my give or take ideas about that, but I think for that purpose, it's pretty good. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
just really to communicate with my family.
Yeah, I'm not on social media a lot, like a lot. And it's funny because I'll stay logged in each account, but I'm not on there a lot. I'm more so a troll than anything than someone that posts. So I might just click on like, oh, let me see what's going on today. And then I may not get back on for like what 2 or 3 days or something like that. As far as Instagram, I don't really have a legit account. I have a fake account. So that's for me to troll. But I probably on Instagram every week for like 5 minutes, if that. And so, but however, I do have TikTok. So that is my addiction, just to be transparent with you, just watching these different videos and different things like that. So I'll wake up, even like this morning, I got up. I know I text you but then I had to go on TikTok to see what was going on. So I don't know why, but that's just my my choice. But Snapchat, I have no desire to even, affiliate with Snapchat. So yes.
Well, I would say you are amongst the millions of other users for TikTok who are what I call victims of the algorithm, because there's there's specific algorithms just that's designed just for you to utilize and say, okay, we know what Jesse likes, we know
Yes.
what Jesse's likes to view. So let's load him with just a ton of information about the
Yes.
things he likes, his interests, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting because that's what technology is. It is really specific for you and your interests,
Yeah.
and you know you're one of many TikTokers who are just like, I'm just addicted to it, which is
Yeah.
why I refuse to get on it. So people do send me like videos, like TikTok videos, like, oh, check this out, as a text message, but
Yeah.
I'm like, if you once you tap it and you
Yeah.
get to watch the video twice, you
Yeah.
watch it twice and then it's like, okay, sign up for TikTok.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you won't get me because I already know what's how this is gonna go. You're gonna find my interest and say, all right, Cortez, this is what he likes, so we're gonna show him exactly what he likes, and then everything is kind of measured to the just millisecond of however long you're on the video, and scroll on and you find another video and however long you're on that video. So it's really um, data points that TikTok has, and you can do a lot with that data. And
Yeah.
social media plays a huge role in just people call it data mining, just knowing and utilizing that data for a very powerful thing. So that's my love of social media, because I'm like, the data is very important in terms
Yeah.
of who are the users in this area, what are they using TikTok, let's say, for example, what are they using TikTok for? Are they buying products? Are they
Yeah.
utilizing the advertising that's on the page? And that equals money for other companies, but um, it's a tool, and
Yeah.
it's a thing that people definitely use. And the data is important. The data is
Yeah.
important because it says, hey, we know these users in this state from this neighborhood. We know exactly what they like.
Mm-hmm.
What And because TikTok is a huge platform, they have a lot of data, a large amounts of data. And if you do that from neighborhood to neighborhood, state to state, country to country, you're able to kind of know lots of information about just these people
Yeah.
from either the US or the UK or Canada, just anywhere and everywhere. They have large amounts of data.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's interesting.
That is very interesting because honestly, I didn't even think to dive that deep, in it. So thank you for that. You are definitely head on with that because I do get if I go on one page, then I get a lot of messages, encourage me or trying to prompt me to friend this other person or sign up for the other person page or whatever. Another thing I think is interesting too is I get a lot of friend requests, which I don't have really no friends on TikTok. I just well, let me say, well, I have a few for the videos I like to watch, but not a lot. But then I get all these friend requests, and I'm thinking like, I'm looking at some of the stuff like, no, this is crazy. But I believe it's like the like what you talk about, the algorithm or the computer, something that's generating these requests so that I can accept them, which I never do. But it's man, it does plays a big role in the lives of people today, which kind of take me into my next question. What do you think, or we're going to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons for using a social media platform. So let's start off talking about the pros. What are the pros for using a social media platform, in your opinion?
So the pros, I would say, from a user standpoint, I would say it's you're able to kind of keep connected with a large amount of people
Yes,
relatively very fast. It's like you post an update and bam, whoever is in your network, they're able to see it.
yes,
So I love it for that, and I love it for just me kind of keeping up just with all of my friends and families, and
yeah,
learn and in some cases learning some new stuff because somebody may share an article, or I'm like,
mhm,
all right, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Um, so I love it for that fact, and it's just it. But I recognize and realize it for what it is, which is it's just a tool for
yeah.
communication.
Yeah, I like that that just what you said as well. I like that because I'm all the way here in California, so I'm not really physically connected with our families. So when I see my sister post, pictures of her, or my niece and nephews, or my her grandkids or husband, whatever, that for real, that really kind of bless my day, because there are times I do be thinking about my family, and I just click on there and I'm like, oh, okay, she done posted something, picture, or made comments, or went live on an event. And so that really keeps me connected, to the family. So for me, that's very important. um, what are some other pros you think about, that you think there is to being connected with social media?
I would say when it comes to learning, like learning new skills and topics and ideas, social media definitely helps with that. For
Yeah,
example, I love like DIY and home renovation stuff,
yeah,
and there's a YouTuber in Canada, and he just all he does is just talks about like home renovation, and I in his skill in terms of like video production and explaining things to the audience and his viewers. I think it's an amazing way to kind of like learn a new skill, because he walks you through the topics and the steps of like building this deck, for
yeah,
example. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I now have an idea of how to build this deck. So if I ever wanted to do it and try it out, um, he he's explained it just thoroughly. And other people utilize it for like I want to say just language learning. Lots of people
mhm,
just, it's so in some cases, in some communities, it's very hard to find people who speak your language, or who who just basically speak your language. So
yeah,
uh, you just have social media to help with that. You
yeah,
can instantly connect with somebody across the world, thousands of miles away, who can speak the language that you speak. And so
yeah,
I found that to be a useful thing, with studying Arabic, because it's in the US, it's not as easy to find Arabic speakers. So I'm always partnering with somebody from the Middle East, and we'll figure out ways to speak in Arabic and improve my Arabic. So it just depends on what you want to use it for, but I do think there are lots of pros to it for sure.
I like the fact that, because let me back when you talked about Arabic and learning other language, that brought back to my attention when you was posting. I think you posted like a poem in Arabic or something like that. That's exactly what jogged my memory. But I didn't know that you were connecting with people from Middle Eastern to stay on top of speaking Arabic. I didn't know that you was doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of have to do it because um, with Arabic inside, it's such a complex language, and so you have to constantly utilize it as
Yeah.
words change and evolve. It's like, all right, we no longer use these words in I guess slang Arabic. And
Wow.
so, in order for me to stay on top of just, the language and how it's evolving, I kind of have to speak to people from the Middle East because they're there
That's right.
and they're using the language. So I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, this is a new phrase or a new word or something like that. And that poem, it was specifically so people could see, just how my language had improved, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident, with it. So yeah, I wanted to kind of bring a bit of my interest and my community um, to the rest of the world, and that's social media was a way for me to do that. So
Yeah.
so that's a pro. I think that's an excellent example of a pro.
No, and that is an excellent example because I feel like also, nephew, I feel like, when you posted that on there, I think the way I was thinking too is, what if there was someone who was contemplating on going back to school or getting some program to learn a second language, and they were somewhat intimidated or had a lack of confidence, and just to see you post that the way that I was looking at it was, man, this can serve as a tool to motivate somebody to go back and learn that second language. So to me that was awesome. But I'm also glad the fact that you are connected with other people to stay on top of speaking Arabic, because that never occurred to me. And as a matter of fact, there are times when I do think, because I know you haven't traveled over there in a while, from
Yeah.
my understanding, but I have thought to myself on several occasions, like, okay, I wonder what he's doing, to stay on top of it. In my mind, I figure like, okay, he's probably just doing a lot of reading or doing stuff online. So it is true that you are doing stuff online to stay on top of, which I think is really, really good. Really good. Yeah. So is it hard staying connected because of the time difference, or you and the other person, y'all just pick a time to have that
Well,
dialogue?
well, I would say I'm fortunate in several ways. So my job is I currently work in admissions for a nonprofit in
Yeah.
DC, and so we have to do lots of interviews in Arabic, and so I do have to coordinate between several different time zones in the Middle East, and so that may mean that I'm up super early in the morning, sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning, um, just so I can coordinate and make sure that the other half, which is in
Mm.
Iraq, so that um, in Iraq, everything is my Iraqi counterparts know exactly and have the latest information. So we're constantly messaging each other, and
Right.
social media
Um,
has played a tool in that because we can instantly communicate with each other. Like, okay, did you get this document or did this person
wow.
interview? And so constantly we're just talking about and in Arabic about like, okay, this is what this person this they've had their interviews, and so I've had to coordinate about I think it was about 520 interviews across
Wow.
just across social media. So
Wow.
it's my job to kind of coordinate all of those interviews and make sure everybody gets an interview. Sometimes the interviews in English, and then other times the interviews in Arabic. And so for the Arabic interviews, I always sit in on them so I can listen in and just contribute and make sure that you know that we are just saying the right stuff and just listening. So I really just use it to listen, just so I can understand and continue to keep my Arabic where it is. And my team, they're always happy to help me. My Iraqi counterparts, they are a wonderful group, so they're
Yeah.
always communicating with me and talking with me, and so that always helps. When I outside of work, I always try to just communicate with my friends, or I may post something on Instagram and see what people think, and sometimes they'll come back with corrections, say, "Oh, Cortez, maybe you may use this phrase. This
Yeah,
would be a better way to phrase this,
yeah,
and get the context out of it. So yeah, so social media is it helps out with that too. So
that's
yeah.
awesome. That is very, very awesome. I did not know, and maybe you told me this before, it just went on my head, but I did not know you were utilizing Arabic for your current employer. That's
Hmm.
awesome. That's very, very awesome. Very impressive too. Uh, what about marketing? How important is, or actually, let me rephrase that. How big of a role does social media play when it comes to marketing?
I would say it's a huge thing for
Yeah,
marketing. You have just tons. You have access to millions of people, and
yeah,
so what lots of companies are doing is they have uh, full just departments dedicated to social media,
mhm,
because in some cases the reach that you may get from traditional advertiser, which may be 50 to let's say 50 to 100,000 people.
mhm,
um, it's like, okay, well, if I always say, if you're going to do some marketing, do it, across various platforms. Always have traditional marketing for sure, but lots of companies always are now trying to pivot towards you call them brand influencers, and these are people with millions of followers. And
yeah,
so when it comes to reach, if they post one thing, let's say just not a celebrity, but just like a regular person who has who built up a large following. If they post one thing, say, "Oh, I'm interested in this," it's going to go to millions of people. So the money that you would have paid for traditional advertising with maybe 100,000, 250,000 reach of people, you get a million people from this one post, and the reach
mhm.
is far greater than what we may be what people may consider from traditional advertising, whether that's radio, TV, or print.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I think about people who are in the entertainment business. I know when back in the day, I'm gonna say we didn't have a lot of we didn't have social media at all. And so for those folks, actors or actresses or musicians or whoever, singers, for them to be able to market themselves, it was a little bit more challenging back then. This generation today, they could just get on social media, put one of their songs on there, it goes viral, they got a million likes, a million views, and in some cases people make money off social media as well. So that's kind of like a two for one, in my opinion. But I mean, I think marketing is a huge part when it comes to social media. When you're marketing your business and different things like that, you get a chance to just showcase what you're trying to do, and it's just kind of like a one-stop shop. You ain't really got to do nothing else, just get on there, people see, and you got friends to tell about it, the word of mouth. Oh, my friend got this page, they send them a link, and I'm telling you, it just goes like crazy. So if I ever was to did something as far as business, I think that needs some exposure, I personally would use social media because I know that's a way to kind of get it out there and stuff. Um,
Absolutely. And I think for lots of companies, they do realize the power of social media. And
yeah,
so what I do think is that people kind of need to realize that um, there are, the end goal is for you to consume and buy. So it's like, all right, this influencer may not necessarily eat this product or wear these clothes often. And some of them, they may say like, oh yeah, I post, as I post it, I put a little marking on there that says, this is a sponsored post. So
yeah,
once you see that, it's like, okay, this company paid them to, promote this product or review this product. Some influencers do that. Others don't. You're like, no, I actually use this product and I like it. So this is just me talking about this product. But I think with those sorts of accounts, they have such a large influence on just how companies, generate profit.
yeah,
Whereas if Kim Kardashian posts one thing, maybe it's a dress or perfume or a cream, it's gonna instantly just get a huge amounts of people who are interested in it and buy it. They just like, all right,
Yeah.
I love Kim K, so I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And
Easy.
it's a powerful thing to have that much influence as a person.
Yeah, I definitely agree, which is crazy to me. Absolutely nuts. I'm not gonna just go and buy something because a celebrity that posted something, cream, or
Well,
it's
well,
nuts.
Uncle Jesse, that's you. You know,
Yeah,
that is you. You know, you
yeah,
may not do that, but other
yeah,
people who get a glimpse into the lives of either their favorite celebrities or their favorite person that they follow,
yeah.
they are like, no, I want to do what they do, follow the same people that they follow, or buy the products and use the products that they use.
Yeah,
So it's a thing. It's a
it's
thing.
definitely a thing. You know, recently I was reading this article on, I think it was, I forgot which platform it was on, but it was a girl who was getting like plastic surgery. I don't know if you heard about that, to look like Kim Kardashian. And she ended up dying, getting going under the knife to look like Kim Kardashian. And she was not a bad looking woman at all,
Hmm.
which I thought was interesting, that she was so fascinated by this woman's looks that she, would risk her own health to have that look. But you're right, some people do it, you know.
I would say that's a great example of one of the extremes of social media,
Yeah,
which is, I think there are two things that are at play. One, uh, the power of social media, because she most likely would have consumed so much of and identify with a lot of Kim Kardashian's, idea and the standards of beauty that currently exist, that we have in the US.
yeah.
Um, and then what also, she may have had some mental health things going on, because I
Hmm.
think to do something like that, there is some mental health issues or something larger at stake that's happening, um, just with her mentally and emotionally. So
Yeah,
she may have, felt like this is what she needed to do in her life, and it's unfortunate that it had a bad health outcome for her. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it shows the power of social media for sure.
There are a lot of cons to using social media. And I think a lot of that too kind of goes along what we just discussed. Uh, in my opinion, there's a lack of reality when it comes to people posting the way they look, them taking trips, or how much money they got, or the materialistic things that they may put out there. And it does causes people that has like some form of low self-esteem or some form of insecurities to gravitate towards that particular person, and they tend to live their life through these particular people, which in reality, a lot of people are just posted. I mean, I can go right now down the street or in another neighborhood and find some homeless people, get somebody to film me, act like I'm just doing a good deed, and that just for something 5 minutes, when in reality, that's not my everyday life. And that's what I think people have a hard time separating the two. Speak on that.
Well, I think with what we consume is it's kind of hard to separate the two, because if this one person is constantly posting about this every single day, you would think this is their daily life,
Yeah,
because they're posting about either helping people, whether they're housed or unhoused, rich or poor, just wherever. You think
yeah,
like, oh, this person they do this every single day,
yeah,
when in reality it's very different. They could have maybe carved out a month of their time and did something maybe like 3 or 4 days every single
yeah,
day, and just maybe got a large amount of content and was able
Yeah.
to sparse it out throughout the rest of the year and make it seem like this is every day. But when in actuality, it was just a month at a time, and they just garnered enough content to just focus and have it scheduled for every single day. So I think a lot of people just aren't aware of the I guess the way social media is, and
Yeah.
how much editing that goes into these pictures that we see, uh, or these videos that we have, and the videos that will be posted onto your accounts on your social media pages as well, because
Yeah.
it's like these are edited. In most cases, and all videos are like edited to be viewed. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I have an hour-long video. I can't post that. It needs to be cut down to what we know is the attention span of the average person, which is 2 to 3 minutes. You go
Right.
above that on a video, it's like, okay, we know we lost them. We know we lost them, and so they want to engage. And then this is why Snapchat and Instagram Reels or TikTok are
Mhm.
so cool, because they have figured out a way to just keep your attention for whether that's 15 to 30 seconds, and in some cases 45 seconds. It's like, all right, this is how this works. But that's a lot of images and a lot of sounds and videos just coming to people every single day.
Yeah.
And it creates this reality. It's like, all right, yeah, this is what Kim K is doing, or this is what Beyonce is doing. We're seeing, the 15 seconds, and these are live 15 seconds. It's
Yeah.
like, well, it may be live, but it's only 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's only 30 seconds. And these people have like a large life outside of their social media life. And we don't always get a chance to see that. And I honestly, I don't think we should, because I think people should be entitled to
Yes.
a bit of privacy,
Mhm.
and always, be able to spend time with their loved ones, just outside of social media. And I think one of the downsides of social media is that lots of people feel that they're entitled to, you know, what the lives of other people. It's like,
Yes.
no, you posted this, so I know you did this. This is who you are. And it's like, no, not necessarily. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to me than just the things that I post. Because if you were to follow and learn about the things that I posted, I really just post a lot of stuff about the Middle East, Arabic, and youth. So you just think, oh, this guy's very interested in youth work and the Middle East. But there is so much more to me than just that.
Exactly.
There is my interest in photography. I love photography. Also, uh, like I love going home to Chicago, spending time with my family. So these are things that you won't see, and that I deliberately do not post, because that I feel like I'm entitled to a bit of privacy. So that's why I keep certain things to social media, and other things not. I like to just keep those to myself, because I like to experience those by myself.
I am so glad you said that, nephew, because um, I am in 100% in agreement with not posting your entire life on social media. I think it's healthy that you have a bit of privacy outside of social media. There are people I go on there and literally, and I told you I'm a troll. I would go on there specifically to find out, oh, let me see what this person's doing today. They're posting stuff at their job. They're posting them going to the gym. They're posting if they get on the airplane. They're posting when they get off the airplane. They're posting pictures of them. What I mean, and I only do it just so I can be nosy. Let me be clear here, but I just, and part of me says, why would they post this? But they still got my attention. You know what I'm saying? I'm still like involved, through social media and what they're doing. And for me, like I said, I'm not a big person to post. I used to be a long time ago, but I'm like, no, that I don't need to be posting this. However, if I did stop posting, I would definitely minimize what I'm going to share on social media. So I think that's extremely smart. One of the things I'm glad with my sisters and my brothers is that they don't post a lot of things that go on with for me with my mother. That's super important because she's older now, and I just, you know, and that's something that me and Regina talked about a while back, and not necessarily me saying don't do it, but I think we kind of like all in agreement with in a non verbal way that, you know, there are certain things that we're going to post about our mother and certain things we're not. So I'm glad of that, you know, and even when it comes to y'all, Regina, I feel like she's very smart at what she share and what she posts, even about her kids and grandkids. You know, she'll post a picture for birthdays or graduations, and you know, and just going live with certain stuff. But I feel like she still keeps stuff that she feels she don't want to share off there. So I'm a big proponent of that. I love that. Years ago, I had a friend who and I was kind of frustrated. I ain't gonna lie, I was upset about this. I hadn't talked to this person like for years. I blocked this person on social media, blocked their cell phone number, and they found Regina and they reached out to her. I was so mad about that. And you know, and the person was trying to get a hold of me and all that. And I just didn't like the fact that she looked my sister up. I didn't even knew she really knew Regina like that, you know. But you know, I kind of, you know, shut that down again. I said, Regina, let me handle it like that. But yeah, I think it's important. It's important to have that privacy. So I want to go and ask, how important is it for people to be able to stand up to negativity on social media? Because you know, there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of negative comments where people post pictures and stuff. So how important is it for people to have thick skin and stand up to that type of behavior?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to talk about the underbelly of social media.
Yeah.
While it is a wonderful tool, there is, you know, but I would say just an other side to social media that you kind of have to be aware of, and once you're engaging in it, just, you know, understand that comes with just the and just the anonymousness that people do have. It's like they can create a fake account. They can copy all your pictures and just say, oh, you know, I'm also Jesse. You
Yeah.
know, I am also Jesse, and I have
Yeah.
I know his work history. I know his everything professional because I've seen it on his profile and his account. So I am also Jesse.
Yeah.
And they can masquerade as you, and you know, it's like, man, I am I'm Jesse number two.
Yeah.
And they may say things that's not you. And so I think um, people really have to have a tough skin and be ready to kind of like combat the bullying that does happen with social media, because lots of people be are placed in a very mentally unwell spot when they may post a picture and and sometimes it goes viral, and it's like, no, this was meant to just be amongst my friends and family, and somebody, whether that's, you know, somebody who may not be a friend or a good family member, they may just spread it across
Mm.
just platforms, and it becomes viral, and this person is now picked on based on what they've said or how they look. And so
Yeah.
you definitely have to have, you know, just a thick skin, but also I would say it's important to always remember to bridge the online with the offline. And so what I mean by that is, while let's say that person is experiencing bullying and they're reading this stuff every single day, just on social media, all day, every day, reading these comments, and it's not contributing anything good to their feeling of self-worth.
Yeah.
Um, I would say if a family member or a friend or somebody experiences something like that, like bullying, to such a large degree, I would think it would be paramount to just take them off of social media and just like, no, this is your life. These are the people who love you. We are physically here in your space, and we see you every day, and so we're going to contribute, and we're going to love on you. We're going to make sure that you're feeling your best self.
Yeah.
And over time, when there's a way to put you back on social media, and you're ready for it, and you have some more skills and some more tools in your tool belt to be able to deal with this level of negativity that something may have garnered,
Yeah.
then that's okay. Then that's okay, and you'll be ready to get back on it. But I think we don't always necessarily talk about that, about taking people off of social media if it's not doing them any good at all. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I watched my child go from somebody who's very outspoken and energetic and very boisterous in some cases, because they're just maybe like just a loud teenager or a loud kid or something, and they just just transition to somebody who you don't recognize. And it's like I know they spend a lot of time on social media, but I wouldn't think that that had an influence the way that it does, and it does. And
Yeah.
I think for large amounts of people, including myself, it's important to take that time away from social media, because it gives a much needed mental and emotional break for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you find someone to put a photo up on social media who may be a different body type, I'm gonna use that scenario, and it may not be well liked by the viewers. I mean, you can very well easily find somebody to start, or several people to put in negative comments, and the person may not even be as mentally sound as they should be. They may have like insecurities, low self-esteem, and that type of behaviors, those type of behaviors from the viewers can easily put this person in a space for suicide ideation, and you just don't know. You don't know what a person's mental state is when they post pictures. And if as a matter of fact, they may be posting pictures to make themselves feel good, and then they get the opposite response, and now they're in this space where they want to do harm to themselves. And so I think it's very important, especially for those who are underage, for parents to monitor their social media accounts. I would definitely monitor their accounts. I have them to go on at a certain time, to log out at a certain time. I would have the password, all that, because you don't know what these youth or kids are getting exposed to, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I think we always want to assume that people are doing good and doing
Yeah.
well on social media. Like, oh yeah, they're like, there is no way that they can find out where I live. It's like, there is a way. There is a
Yeah.
way. There
Yeah.
is no way that this could affect me and my idea of self-worth. Yes, there is a way. Like,
Mhm.
these are things that do happen and do impact our daily lives. And so when I think about social media, I think it should always come with a caveat of understand that it has its limitations,
Yeah.
and it's not always a good thing to utilize it, because people may not realize that they send out certain information. So, for example, if I'm taking a picture and I tag the location, it's like, okay, this is exactly where I'm at right now. And so I do hope that the people who watch this video, that they understand that there's an important safety aspect to social media that people always have to consider, which is when you leave from, I would say, if you're going to post a location, you should post it once you leave there. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
um I I'm at maybe just this nice restaurant in
Mhm.
Chicago. um I'll post about it when I leave.
Yeah.
Or I'm at this specific spot in this country. I'll post about it when I leave it, because people will know exactly where you're at, down to the pinpoint, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
If you choose to share it or not, but most people choose to share it. And while you may not realize uh, that people will have access to that level of information, uh, some people choose to use it for bad reasons. Like, okay, I know exactly where Cortez is at. I know
Mhm.
I'm gonna go and confront him, or
Yep.
just somebody could come to me who doesn't have really good intentions, and
Right.
you don't want that, because safety is a huge thing for me. And so I always either post a spot when I leave it, but I never post it while I'm there.
That's
um
smart.
and people don't realize that, and it's like, this is a way to keep you safe. And it's a way to, keep your friends safe. And for me, I go to a very large extreme, because sometimes I'm like, okay, is this address showing? Is it easy to figure out where exactly I
Yeah.
am, or what city I'm in at this moment in time? So I'll wait till I leave it, and then like, all right, I can post it now. But I take privacy very seriously. So
That,
what address is showed in the background?
yeah.
I'm gonna blur that out, or crop it out of something. So yeah, that's what I
That's
do.
very smart. I actually know someone who, they ended up posting a live of them at work. They work in the medical field. Common sense, these shifts are 10 to 12 hours. And when they posted that, somebody that they knew saw that, knew they were at work, or they had just said they just got to work. I got so many hours to go, whatever. And somebody saw that and went and broke in a house, and it was a good friend of the person, who posted that live, you know
Yeah,
and it was crazy. I'm talking, when I say crazy, crazy,
yeah.
crazy. And they took laptops, they took iPads. This person had like maybe about $400 or $500 just in a jar. I mean, they were just taking stuff, took
Hmm.
a ring, and yeah, all because of that one live she posted on social media.
And that's you know it's a sad example of that, because
Yeah,
safety is an important aspect, and we don't always realize that our safety is compromised when we post something, and it's like, oh, I know where you are, so I
yeah,
know where you are, where you're not. You're not at
right,
home,
right, right,
and you, at this point, you've told me, given me the whole layout of your house, so I
right.
know, how to maneuver through your house, because I've
Yep.
seen it in another video. You
Yeah,
probably did it. I could figure out from the pictures, or I see the house tours that a person may have gave, so it's easy to figure out. And
yeah,
that's why people who do have means, they may have multiple homes, people, or they rent out a house, like, oh, this is my house, and it's like, okay, it's your house for the day and for the videos, but it's like, I don't live here. So I think that's a very important example of how to be safe, because it's a thing. And it's like, all right, if you're going to, one would think that would happen, but I could see it happening fairly often, because it's easy to figure out. It's like, okay, we know you're by yourself because you've not been posting any pictures with other people. So then, I know you're not at home. So
yeah,
I could easily get into the house.
yeah. Have you had to personally deal with any cruelty on social media?
I wouldn't say I have, actually.
Okay, good.
No, I don't. And honestly, it it's it has its pros and cons, but I don't really put people in my circle who I don't know.
Right,
And if somebody did come to me with some negativity, I just be like, well, I'm going to block you.
right,
And
right.
and excuse me, but the power of that is, like, I can create my own community,
Yeah,
um who however I wanted to, and see whatever I want to see.
yeah,
Now, uh the disadvantage of that is that, let's say somebody came to me and said, Cortez, I didn't agree with this, or you should have thought of this, or you should have thought of that. And I'm like, well, I don't have to listen to what you say, so I'm going to block you again. So so and I say that's a disadvantage, because uh this is another perspective. So this is this
yeah,
this person is trying to tell me the truth,
yeah,
and I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to listen to it.
yeah.
And so that's a disadvantage, because um I'm only viewing it, or I'm only surrounding myself from the people who I like, and the people
Yeah,
who bring me positivity, but I'm not engaging with other people, so I don't know how other people or the other perspectives that other people may bring to the table. So I would count that as a disadvantage. But for me, it would be a needed disadvantage to make sure that you know I'm mentally well, I'm mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally well. And so to them, I'm like, well, we can talk about this offline.
Yeah.
If you can get to me offline, we can talk
Yeah.
about it. But I don't think you
Yeah.
can even get to me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Uh, I love it, man. I love it. I mean, I like how you put that together because I never thought about it being blocking someone being a disadvantage, especially if they're really trying to share truth, with you. But it is your choice if you want to accept that information and continue on to, do what you doing on social media. Cause I will 100% be the same way. No question about it. If I'm specifically in this lane right here, and if this is all I want to deal with, and you trying to come and bring, and you get a little bit too assertive, I'm going to block you, period. You know what I'm saying? Cause like you, for me, it's about my mental health. It's about my peace, me being in a good space and not letting anybody rattle my cage when it comes to that. Let's talk a little bit, because we're gonna have about 5 minutes left. Also, I want to talk a bit
Only
about,
5 minutes.
dude, I mean, it goes quick. I told you it goes
Okay.
quick. Let's talk a bit about misinformation for children because, well, I'm sorry, inappropriate content or information for children that may have access to social media. How important is it for the parents to monitor their account when it comes to stuff like that? Because there's a lot of sexual content out there that may not be appropriate for some of these children that has an account.
hmm I think that's extremely appropriate to monitor your kids or whatever child will be in your life. I think it's extremely appropriate to monitor both what they consume in terms of like let's look at it as in the human body. You will watch them. It's like, you know what, this food isn't good for you.
Mhm.
I won't watch you just eat 2 hamburgers or just eat all of this food that I know isn't healthy for you. I think it should be the same exact way for social media. And it's like what you're consuming way too much. You're
Yeah,
consuming way too much. You're spending way too much time on social media, and it's affecting your mental health and your
yeah,
emotional health. Whereas with food, it would affect your physical health. I think with social media, it affects your mental and emotional health for sure.
yeah,
Um, and so as you would monitor your kids' physical health, you should also monitor their mental emotional health. And social media is a, a, a huge tool that will allow them to consume as much as they want, whenever they want, all the time. And it's like this isn't good. And I think
yeah,
for lots of people, it's like, oh, they're spending time on Facebook or they're spending time on TikTok or something.
yeah,
TikTok isn't, it's nothing bad. There's no way it could get any of the bad stuff that social media has can get into this house. Well, I'm
yeah,
like, well, it can and it does. It can
yeah,
and it does, and you don't really know what people are posting that your kid would be receiving. So I think it's always important to either spend some time watching whatever they want to watch. Like, oh, you want to watch this on TikTok? Let's spend some TikTok time together.
yeah,
I'll block out maybe an hour or two and we can watch. And then as you see whatever the algorithm is showing them, it's like, all right, this isn't safe for my kid. Like where did this adult material come from? And it's like, no.
yeah.
And I think that's really important. And parental controls exist for a reason,
Mhm.
and that's solely because your kid isn't mentally or emotionally developed enough to consume this level of material, both in their emotional development, while their brain is developing, but also socially. It's like they it's not okay to be exposed to this sort of thing
Yeah,
because they're nowhere near the age of maturity to understand and properly be able to vet this sort of information or this sort of media that they're consuming. So I think it's very important for parents to be involved. And Malika, she would tell you this is that with all of my younger siblings, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you posting? What are
Yeah,
you watching? Because, I don't want you to be exposed to a certain amount of things, and so you have to constantly be on them and just watching them and monitoring, just that they're able to see certain materials at the proper stages of development, and you can be able to put that information into context. And I
yeah,
think you lose most of that once social media gets involved, because you don't know what people are consuming. And for kids' safety, it's like you have to be involved, because it's easy for them to just send out personal information, because they wouldn't think it's something bad to send out. Or I'm going to just drop my location, and it's like, oh,
mhm,
now I know exactly where you're at. And
yep,
so I think for a safety aspect, you have to always monitor your kids. And you may say, oh, don't, um, parents may warn their kids like, oh, don't post this, or don't say that. But it's like, you have to constantly be on them and be involved and really engaged with them if they will use social media.
yeah, absolutely. Well, nephew, thank you so much for sharing your background with social media and just sharing your opinion about social media. We've have run out of time. This show goes super quick. I know when you said now, when we first started, it seemed like a long time, but once we get the, communicating and going back and forth, it goes quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you. That's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular show, if you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you would like a DVD copy of this show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.